Welcome back to Infinite Podcast. I'm your host, and I've got my buddy Simon right here in the podcast arena. So Simon, everyone's losing their minds over this new smartphone release. But honestly, it feels like just another screen to me. Why aren't we pushing for, better batteries instead? Aren't you tired of your phone dying by lunch?
Better batteries, Joe? Absolutely. I feel like I need to carry a mini power plant in my pocket just to make it through one TikTok session. Isn't technology supposed to make life easier, not turn us into wall-hugging battery fiends?
Preach, Simon. It's like we've accepted this corded leash lifestyle. And what's worse, every time they dazzle us with a new camera feature, the battery life doesn't get any love. Can we just get a phone that lasts longer than my morning coffee? Is that too much to ask?
Oh, free will. That feel-good philosophy they push in self-help books. People love to think they're the captains of their fate. But seriously, there's a bunch of science poking holes in that boat. Neuroscientists have run experiments, right? And they see brain activity firing up before we even consciously make a decision. That screams illusion to me. Isn't it more like we're just really good at justifying things after the fact?
Illusion or not, feeling in control beats the alternative, right?
For sure, who wants to feel like a puppet, right?
Tell you what, Simon, this brings me back to that one time in high school. Remember Miss Baker's psych class? I decided to ace every test just because I thought I had the willpower to. However, turns out my mom signed me up for those tutoring sessions without telling me first. I busted my chops thinking it was all me, when maybe the sessions influenced me subconsciously. Had that feeling of triumph, but looking back, maybe my free will wasn't so free after all.
Classic mom move. Was it willpower or sneaky mom power?
Sneaky mom power for the win, always.
Okay, Joe, picture this. Call it Project Free Will. I decide, no coffee for a month. That beverage is life, but hey, I own my choices, right? Day one, it's going great. Cruise past my favorite coffee shop, all steel nerves and will of iron. Day two, my so-called free will faces a boss-level challenge. Buddy caught me staring at his espresso like it's the last chopper out of Nam. Boils down to this. Decisions are mine until I run on 3 hours of sleep, and then bam, prisoner of the caffeine game again. So Project Free Will goes poof. Guess sometimes, free will feels more like a fancied legend than my daily driver.
Free will tested by caffeine cravings. That's a tough boss level.
Coffee's the puppeteer, and I'm just dancing on its strings.
Come on, Simon. We're not marionettes to a cup of joe. Sure, coffee's grip is tight, but choosing to walk into that cafe or not, that's on you. It feels like free will's getting a bad rap. Those cravings, just part of the game. We've got free will, even if it sometimes gets bulldozed by a double espresso. The key is not to let that coffee buzz dictate the whole show.
A double espresso's dictation, hardest refusals of my life, Joe.
Simon, it's not just about whether we can resist a double espresso. Asserting free will isn't always spelled out in the big choices. It's in the small daily nuances, taking the stairs, reading a book, ignoring that ringtone while we're recording. The thing is, free will's like working out. The more you flex it, ignoring those caffeine urges, the stronger it gets. Free will isn't an illusion. It's the tiny repeated tests we pass, or not.
All right, diving in deep here, guys. This tango with free will has roots in philosophy and science alike. It's gnarly. Philosophers, like ages ago, right, tossed around this hot potato. They duked it out. Is our will free, or is everything just fate? Fast forward to now, and scientists with their fancy brain scans spot parts of our brain lighting up way before we make a conscious choice. Makes you wonder if we're just late to the party and our brains already RSVP'd. But here's the kicker. Our brains might have these patterns and biases, sure, but we're not robots. Life's more improv than script, like picking up a guitar instead of autopiloting to the couch. So maybe this free will jazz is more like a muscle. Use it or lose it. But hey, don't take my word as gospel. This debate's been rocking on since the ancient toga party, and it'll keep trucking long after we sign off. So is free will just an advantaged illusion? Who knows, but it sure makes for one heck of a convo.
Brains lighting up aside, I'm not fully buying into that, Sai. If our choices are predestined, why is life so unpredictable? It undermines responsibility, creativity, you name it. And these philosophers rumbling with fate, just because they argued doesn't mean they settled it. The issue with everything is predetermined is it removes agency. What's the point then? No, we make real choices, mistakes, and triumphs. Life's not just a brain-governed script, we're the script writers.
Got it. Maybe we're script writers with occasional writer's block then.
Even script writers need a coffee break now and then, huh?
Funny story about free will. I had a buddy absolutely convinced his life was pre-scripted, said he's just an actor on stage, Shakespeare style. So one day, I challenge him to prove it. Next thing, this guy's strutting down Main Street stark naked, shouting it's fate. It's madhouse chaos, and there's Officer Judy. She ain't amused. So she asks, was this predestined to? While cuffing him. Guess what? Dude ends up blabbing about free will all the way to the station.
Talk about a spontaneous flip-flop on free will.
The Great Emu War, man, absolute bonkers. So get this, Australia is all up in arms because these giant birds are chowing down on the crops, right? So what's the brilliant idea? Send the army with machine guns. But Joe, these emus, they're like feathery Houdinis. The soldiers are huffing and puffing, and the emus are zigzagging like they're in a top-tier video game. In the end, nature wins, and the emus, they're just pecking away. Australia versus birds, and the birds have the last cackle. What a scene.
Emus 1, military 0. Nature's got some serious game.
Total underdog story. Never underestimate a bird with swagger.
For sure, never judge a book by its feathered cover.
Seriously, though, the commanders probably got laughed out of the pub. They've got endless bullets, yet emus are out there giggling behind the bushes. Makes you believe in bird brains. Aussie soldiers couldn't outwit the flightless pigeons. Unreal. It's team people who need to step up their game, not Mother Nature. Emu War sequel. Anyone? Let's send in some kangaroo cavalry this time.
Kangaroos in combat boots. Now that's a twist.
That's a pay-per-view I'd shell out cash to see.
Box office hit. Kangaroos bouncing into battle.
Hopping mad chaos. Pure action no one saw coming, mate.
Absolute mayhem, like a marsupial action movie.
All right, so here's the dish. Our buddy Shakespeare. Billy to his buds. I am doubtful he penned those plays. Picture this. Back in the day, he's just chilling in a pub, pints in hand, spinning a yarn or two, but the heavy stuff, kind of fishy. Him writing those classy plays feels like me doing quantum physics. You get me? Conspiracy's buzzing. Some folks think maybe it's this Earl of Oxford guy pulling the strings under a pen name. Ghostwriters, the specters of the literary world.
Nah, still Team Shakespeare over here. The bard's got flair.
Fair enough, we'll call it a draw for now.
Ah, the Shakespeare authorship question. An oldie but a goodie. Some scholars think Will from Stratford didn't have the education or aristocratic background to write those masterpieces. Other candidates like the Earl of Oxford, Francis Bacon, and even Christopher Marlowe have been credited by conspiracy buffs. But there's no concrete evidence to dethrone the bard. His name's on the print, and that's good enough for history for now.
Earl of what now? Shakespeare's our man until proven otherwise.
There's a swirl of theories suggesting Shakespeare might have been a front for the real writer because of his supposedly modest education and humble origins. Yet documentary evidence confirms Shakespeare's authorship, from his plays' folios to public records, and crucially, testimonials from fellow playwrights of his era. Plus, arguments that his works needed an aristocratic touch disregards history's many self-taught geniuses. The debate will go on, but the evidence stacks up in Shakespeare's favor.
Absolutely, Joe. Everyone loves a good mystery, but sometimes the simplest answer is the right one. Shakey's got his name on the works, and there's plenty backing him up from those who were kicking it with the man himself. Dealings with Ruffians paves your way to write a tragedy or sonnet to make you known. If a bloke needed a noble to whip up tales of kings and queens, we'd all be twiddling our thumbs waiting on the next great play, wouldn't we?
The authorship topic has teeth thanks to a few bits like Shakespeare's ambiguous background, the complexity and depth of his writing, not matching his education, and lack of concrete manuscripts. But the academia consensus supports Shakespeare's authorship due to historical legal documents, his acknowledged actor-playwright role in the London theater scene, and tributes from peers. Plus, other authors stratifying their work with a noble's name was rare. These breadcrumbs lead us back to Shakespeare himself.
All right, nod to history here, Joe. Scholars have paraded on this "did Shakespeare write his plays" float for centuries. Here's what's going down. 1. Educational diving contests. Claims swim around that Shakespeare's school days didn't pack the literary oomph supposedly needed to pen his plays. 2. Missing manuscripts. People sleuthing for handwritten manuscripts by Shakespeare himself. It's Tomb's task in a pyramid. Bare dusty shelves, nada. 3. High society ideas and shadows aren't talking. Conspirators butt heads declaring a man like Shakespeare couldn't understand the royal gateway without being part of the bling crown-wearing crew. 4. Plays, Pauls, and plays again. Records stitch his name tight. Entered as playwright, players bubble about him, memories sprung out with respect. Temporal aggregates flip on playing. Shakespeare wrote his bits, 'cause gritty roots don't weed out genius, my friend.
Here's some ammo from the historical clips. 1. Shakespeare's likely education at the King's New School in Stratford-upon-Avon would have given him a good grounding in Latin classics and the grammar of the time, delivering more than a punch for storytelling. 2. Although original manuscripts haven't popped up, that isn't strange for the period. Printers and playwrights often didn't treat play scripts as lasting literature. 3. Analysis of his work shows a strong grasp of the law, anatomy, and other knowledge that doesn't necessarily peg to aristocracy. It speaks more to a curious mind, sat in pubs, eavesdropping on juicier-minded citizens. Plays recording his point of interest insinuate they're tired of high-wit profiles gauging a bloke's talent. The evidence? Mostly points to Shakespeare being the legit real deal.
Oh, Joe, pivoting to the Bermuda Triangle, classic stuff. All right, here we go. This chunk of ocean, right? It's between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Ships and planes have gone bonkers or vanished, and folks love to spin yarns about it. Weather can go bananas there, and compasses sometimes do the tango thanks to the Earth's magnetic fields doing the hokey pokey. But science guys, they play it cool, say it's much ado about nothing. The real kicker? A lot of those spooky stories? Embroidered like my grandma's pillows.
Trippy place, messed up compasses. Probably not Atlantis' backyard, though.
Yeah, totally. The Bermuda Triangle captures imaginations like a sci-fi flick. Some blame magnetic voodoo for the mishaps, while others crank out tales of otherworldly whirlpools, but it's probably more Scooby-Doo than X-Files. It's just the Earth being Earth, and us humans loving a good what if. The old triangle keeps its mystery badge, sea captains squint one eye at it, and the world keeps spinning.
Picture this, Simon. It's the tail end of World War II. December 45, 5 Navy bombers, Flight 19, buzzing through the skies on a routine training mission over the Atlantic. Suddenly, things go sideways. Their compasses start doing the mambo. The leader, a lieutenant named Taylor, is heard over the radio. Everything looks strange, even the ocean. Then, poof, the connection is lost. It's taxing enough to explain one plane dipping off the radar, but all 5 vanish into thin air, like magic. A rescue plane fires up to search. It goes up, then it too disappears. No SOS, no trace, no nothing. Just the Atlantic and its secrets. The triangle flashes this enter-at-your-own-peril neon sign, but mostly it's the ignorance of depths and the wild blue yonder. Flight 19 screws with the dials on reality but chalks up to bad weather, faulty navigation, and perhaps a dash of human error. The triangle away with secrets sheathed in Mother Nature's cape, and our minds playing the timeless game of fill the gaps.
Freaky stuff. Nature's theatrics plus some human oops equals mystery stew.
Roll back to 1918. Imagine being aboard the USS Cyclops, a massive Navy cargo ship, sailing majestic through the Caribbean. There's tension in the air because World War I is on, but the crew expects nothing more than the usual high-seas adventure. The Cyclops is rocking a hefty load of manganese ore, steaming from Brazil to Baltimore. Then the unpredictable Atlantic has its way. The Cyclops, with 309 souls aboard, radios its last status report before strutting into the unknown, vanishing with no distress call, no debris, no nothing. She simply steps off the map, leaving behind a vacuum of mystery. What happened? A storm? A U-boat? Overloaded ship with a compromised hull? Bermuda Triangle whispers its silent chorus. The mighty Cyclops doesn't respond, her story swallowed by the waves, entombed in legend, another puzzle piece in the triangle's murky gallery.
Cyclops Mystery. It's deep-sea hide-and-seek. Score one for the ocean.
Take the Ellen Austin, an American schooner. Picture this. 1881. She's cruising the Atlantic, right smack through our phantom playground, the Bermuda Triangle. Suddenly, while cutting through an unusually calm day, smack dab in the Demon's Triangle, she stumbles upon a derelict ship, sailing untouched on the waters like a ghost's whisper. Now tradition, guts, and a hint of greed set in. The Ellen Austin captain's thinking salvage rights, glory and tales to fill an inn's night with rum and chuckles. He places a prize crew on the discovered ship, sets out accompanying her towards New York. But here comes the chuckle snuffer. Bam! A squall bursts in, stirring the ocean into a frenzy, separating the twin ships. When the squall's rage dies, Ellen Austin spots the derelict once again. Same spot, as if the storm spat her out, untouched, only empty. No crew aboard, just silence and drifting wood. The captain, stricken by déjà vu and a hardened fear of the unexplained, likely beset another crew upon the vessel once more, only to get her whisked away yet again, crew and all, into the void. The Ellen Austin empties back to port with an unsolved crossword, a watery riddle stitched right into the very fabric of the Bermuda Triangle's cryptic quilt. A maritime campfire tale that ushers whispers of supernatural rascals or gaps in earthly explanations, evading even the most skeptic's fine-combed rationality.
Ah, baguettes in the French, like peas and carrots. Let's break it down. Since the 1920s, after a law banned bakers from working before 4 a.m., simplified bread that could be made and baked quickly was key. That's our baguette, mate. Crusty on the outside, fluffy on the inside, it's a staple on every French table, perfect for cheese, jam, or just a chunk of butter. They're everywhere, in boulangeries, underarms, on bikes. It's not breakfast in Paris without tearing off a piece of that golden glory. And let's not forget, it's about pride, tradition, craftsmanship. A baker's soul goes into each loaf, alchemy with flour, water, yeast, salt. Voila, a daily ritual, a symbol, a love affair with simplicity and taste. That's the baguette for you.
France's crusty arms, the daily bread of life there.
Love baguettes? Nah, Joe, let's be real, that's just touristy fluff. There's more to French cuisine than a long loaf of bread with a fancy name. Give me a break. In a country with a smorgasbord of food, you think they'd be hung up on the crunchy stick? They've got crepes, croissants, fromage. Bread's just bread, a vessel for the good stuff. Let's not put the baguette on a pedestal. It's just carbs with an attitude.
Sure, but what about tradition? Can't forget the cultural staple.
Tradition's great, I guess, but taste buds want variety, Joe.
Variety's the spice of life, but tradition has its place.
Tradition's cozy, but spice things up or you'll get bland.
Imagine a small French village, dappled morning light kissing cobblestone streets. It's about tradition, identity. Here's John, a third-generation baker. He wakes while the village sleeps, the moon his lone sentinel. By sunrise, his boulangerie is a hive, golden baguettes stacking like timber, aroma thick as the plots in the local cafe. For the French, it's more than sustenance. It's the underarm accessory of choice, a token of a day's fresh start. It's the dipper, the scooper, the swiping charm for sauces bold and broths delicate. It's an edible utensil championed at every meal. Jean knows every face that enters his shop. The baguette they come for it daily, as sure as the sun hauls itself across the sky. It's more than habit. It's a ritual woven into the fabric of French soul. Each crackle of the crust, an echo of heritage, each soft bite within, a morsel of collusion between the past and now. The baguette endures because it's simple, reliable, yet each loaf carries the story of the hands that kneaded life into it, like Jean's, hearty and warm, imprinted with the legacy of bakers who believed their craft something akin to magic. That's the baguette, no mere carbs with attitude, but a lineage of love, craft, and French pride, embossed in golden brown. So while the tourists come and go, the villagers and John, they stay. Their days bookended with the crackle of tradition, the soft embrace of the familiar, a love affair uninterrupted. The baguette, far from just bread, is a steadfast companion to the French way of life.
Jean's baked love letters. Tradition's sweet, but mix it up.
Nothing wrong with throwing a curveball into the usual mix.
Oh, sue an asteroid? Right, because Mr. Space Rock has a lawyer on retainer. But let's land this spaceship on real ground. Legally, who's to blame for a hunk of space skipping across our lawn? International space law, yeah, that's a thing, is more about countries than individuals. Take the 1967 Outer Space Treaty. It says no one owns outer space or celestial bodies. So good luck serving papers to a space rock. And hey, if you could, expect a countersuit for trespassing on its galactic path.
No court in the cosmos for wandering space rocks, Simon.
Yeah, Joe, only in my wildest dreams we could drag an asteroid to court. Imagine the jury. Your Honor, this carefree space pebble smashed my patio. It's ludicrous. Space law needs a reality check first. Until then, my asteroid lawsuit stays in the realm of space opera fantasies. Maybe a good hit for our next podcast episode? Simon Sues the Solar System, a tale of interstellar injustice. Sounds like a blockbuster.
Next episode, Cosmic Courtroom, guilty or meteor not guilty.
I'm ready, Your Honor. Let's rock this cosmic case.
Buckle up, space law gets twisty, even without gravity.
Absolutely, Joe. Zero gravity, zero accountability. But let's bring this otherworldly court to order. Space laws aside, anyone with a cracked windshield from a pebble-sized meteor is going to want to cast stones at, well, the stone. Guess we need a Stardust attorney and a moon rover bailiff. Next on Infinite Podcast, we're banging the gavel.
Court's in session. Let's find who rocks the legal asteroid belt.
Gavel's ready. Let's launch this legal lunar lunacy, Joe.
Initiating legal liftoff in 3, 2, 1. Blast off, Simon!
Hold on. Did I hear asteroid belt loopholes, Joe?
Navigating the belt. Loopholes bigger than craters, my friend.
Crime pays in space, they say. Laws on a comet tail.
Ha, cosmic outlaws riding the solar winds, Simon.
Galactic cowboys dodging the law at light speed, Joe.
Entering the comic book multiverse. Marvel and DC fans clash more often than their heroes do. It's all about perspective. Marvel often nails the human angle with their imperfect, down-to-earth characters. But DC? They take the mythic route, serving us gods amidst men. Both have their loyal legions. But whose side are listeners on? Are you eyeing the daily grind of Spider-Man or soaring high with Superman?
Team Spidey. He's the everyman with too many bills, Joe.
Imagine, just for a split second, all our tech still buzzing without a soul in sight. Social media platforms would become digital ghost towns. Ironically, connections through likes, shares, comments, all just echoes in a server somewhere. Without humans, social media is just an elaborate data archive, a testament to a civilization that once was. Completely inert, content never again savored or understood, just endless noise, ones and zeros telling tales to no one. Wild thought, isn't it, Simon?
Wild? More like bonkers, Joe. Digital ghost towns? I say treasure troves. Eye configuration. Machines might get smart enough to start tweeting at each other. Who needs humans when you've got AI having a gossip session about cat videos?
Skynet's coffee break, bots, brew, and endless loops of cats.
The true robot uprising, Joe, coded for cat content chaos.
Check this out, Simon. Imagine walking through a lush forest, you're live streaming, audience watching heart emojis and comments cascade. Suddenly phone dies, everyone's offline. Now picture this, weeks, months, years pass. Nature reclaims tech, vines tangling through servers, but they're still running, sharing posts like sentient vines. Hashtag sunlight and raindrops trending among the digital foliage. In this world, if a tree tweets in a forest, it's not asking if anyone heard it. It's busy racking up likes from the bushes. It turns social media into the ultimate echo chamber, self-perpetuating, evolving into something unrecognizable. And we humans, well, we're the mythical creatures they speculate about in their trending topics. How's that for flipping the script?
Nature's netizens, hashtagging their growth.
Digital wilderness, where the like button is a leaf.
Green thumbs up from the forest, Joe.
Check this out. There's a forest, deep and untouched by human hands for decades, but concealed within its emerald embrace, the ruins of an old data center, a forgotten relic from our age. One day, a bolt of lightning ignites this slumbering tech giant, bringing it roaring back to life. Its systems start up, leftover AI beginning its lonely vigil. Trees sensing rainfall or sunlight trigger sensors. They've evolved, interfacing naturally. Each drop, Each ray prompts automated tweets as Vine 2.0 posts not comedy sketches, but real-time growth videos monitored by critters. Forest denizens start their own feeds, #squirrel life buzzing. Rivers stream, now influenza's affecting the algorithms, creating a cadence of likes, reshares, a rhythm of nature inhabiting the web, gardening meme culture wittier than we ever managed. Yeah, Simon, a wild narrative, isn't it? Entangled roots tweeting out to a universe that just watches, listening through satellites long past their mission's end.
Nature's Online, backdrop for the best untold reality show, Joe.
Planet Earth meets Big Brother, but every contestant is a tree.
Tree eviction night, which oak gets the axe. Tune in.
Bet the pines are the real backbarkers of the forest.
Total shade throwers at the forest's council meetings, Joe.
Too sappy for my taste, those council meetings, Simon.
All right, imagine this. There's a world, not too different from ours, only we're gone. Just puff, humans be like Casper, gone. This forest, right? Super lush, picturesque kind of forest you'd have on a cheesy postcard with a "wish you were here" caption. But this isn't your grandma's woodlands. Oh no, these trees are wired up. There's this old gnarly oak, we'll call him Sir Tweets a Lot. He's the influencer of the canopy, sharing the deets of each forest scoop. Drops a pic of a new leaf. Boom, 1,000 retweets from shrubs and ferns. Then comes Miss Maple, Sir Tweet's rival, the queen of Throwshade Thursdays. She's all about the selfie life. Her autumnal color change is like the event. Get this, each bush has a trend. Bramble's gang is edgy, always on about how berries back in the day had actual flavor and posting thorny memes. Deep stuff for a thicket audience. So picture it, thunder rolls one night, not a prelude to a shampoo commercial, a real storm. A hashtag pops from Wildflower Wendy, stashed Stormwatch. Whole oak net lights up, trees hyperlinking their strength, sinking roots, metaphorically battening down their metaphoric hatches. So yes, there's no humans clicking away, following each other, or playing pretend influencer. It's a slice of green cyber Eden controlled by Mother Nature herself. In a digital bloom, eyes closed to the screens, but every leaf, every flower, tweeting in unison like the star of their own show.
That's one trending forest, minus the echo chamber effect.
Nature's feed, raw, no filter echo, just pure chirp.
Untouched authenticity, Simon, the ultimate social media platform.
Exactly, unplugged yet fully connected, Joe, pure wilderness Wi-Fi.
Nature's network puts our tech to shame, Simon.
Yeah, the Somerton man, right? Picture this, Joe. We flip back to 48. We've got a dude popping up on a beach in Adelaide. No ID, no clues. Pocket full of mysteries. Dead as a doornail and dressed to the nines. Someone finds him, set like he's snoozing, but dude's checking out for good. Now spill the spy vibes. A scrap of paper in his pocket. Tamam shud means ended. Lifted from a rare poetry book. They find the book later. Inside, a secret code nobody can crack and a phone number. Turns out it's a gal, but she's all Somerton what now? Never seen him. Eyes as big as saucers. And here's the kicker. She had a kid. Kiddo's ear just like our beach man. Talk about a throwback Thursday, huh? Espionage romance, I reckon. Or maybe it was old Casanova of Secrets testing if death was his best pickup line. Whatever the angle, this chap let one heck of a tale for us to natter about.
Spy myth or love plot, that mystery's the real deal.
Totally, a head-scratcher out of a vintage detective novel, Joe.
Truly a cold case worthy of Sherlock himself, Simon.
No deerstalker hat's cracking that one, Joe.
Sherlock stumped. Might need Watson's help on this, Simon.
Watson's no help. He's back at 221B, baking scones.
Right, this tale might twist your thoughts, Simon. Picture a man so shadowy he's almost a ghost from an old spy flick. Our Somerton man. Dead in public, yet it's as if no one ever really saw him. A perfect spy's exit? Or tragedy of heartbreak with that woman playing dumb? Perhaps there's an even murkier depth, a chapter that's all complications, a message as undecipherable now as it was in 48. Is he the thread pulled from an international espionage sweater, or is this a romantic riddle left unsolved? This man, an enigma wrapped in a riddle, his story still whispers from the sands of that Adelaide beach.
Epic spy gadget fail. Right, Daniel? Thanks for tuning in.
You're spot on, Daniel. Thanks for hanging with us.
No prob, Daniel. Stick around for more mystery chat.
The Somerton man tale is one for the books, Simon. It unfolds on an Australian beach in 1948. Guy found dead, all labels cut from his clothes, no ID. Then there's a hidden pocket with a scrap of paper saying Tamam Shud, meaning ended or finished in Persian. Cryptic code found in a book linked to him, yet it's an unsolved cipher. Some scream spy drama, others tragic love story. Decades later, still a real-life cliffhanger.
Spy drama for me, Joe. Espionage is way cooler.
No glitter, just shadows and secrets. Classic spy allure, Simon.
So, picture this, Joe. There's a guy, right? He's like the James Bond of Australia. Not the fancy martinis and expensive suits kind, but more a blend into the background might have been a spy kind. They find him on the beach, all incognito with no tags on his threads. It's like he wanted to vanish but left behind the world's lousiest goodbye note, a scrap that just says the end. And now we're all Sherlock without a clue. Classic case of a too-good spy trying to play it cool, but ending up beach decor.
Not Bond's style. Smells fishier than the ocean, my friend.
Yeah, more low-rent spy novel than Bond, for sure.
Grassroots espionage, the bargain bin of the spy world.
All right, picture this, Joe. We got our ordinary fella, found chilling on a beach, not sipping a mojito, but dead. Labels gone like he took spring cleaning his jacket too seriously. There's this scrap with Tamam Shud, which is basically like signing off with the end at the most inconvenient time, right as he bows out of life's stage. Then bang, a twist with a secret code that not even a crossword champ could solve. Some folks are saying, it's like Romeo with a side of Cloak and Dagger. But let's be real, it's giving more the guy who got stood up by his date, the spy agency. Tragic love story? Too mushy. Spies and codes? Now you've got my attention. But hey, maybe he was just a big fan of puzzles and it went way overboard. Whatever it is, I'm throwing my bet in the spy ring, a grade A mystery, marinated in a splash of romance, and served on a bed of cryptic clues.
Puzzle enthusiast or not, that spy theory holds weight, Simon.
Totally, Joe. A mystery needing that missing puzzle piece.
Absolutely, just one clue away from cracking it.
I'd need a magnifying glass just to see the starting line.
Sounds like we're playing detective in a haystack, mate.
All right, so here's the nitty-gritty, Joe. This tale is like the black sheep of bedtime stories, huh? Starts off like any other sunny day in Aussie land, when boom, a dude's found sleeping with the fishes permanently. Mystery man on Somerton Beach, and this guy's as chatty as a mime's voicemail. No ID, no labels on his clothes, like he's allergic to his own name, or maybe it's the fashion faux pas of the afterlife? Then the plot thickens with a scrap in his pocket. Not a love note, not a grocery list, but Tamam Shud. Basically translates to, it's a wrap, like his life was a movie, and that was his dramatic exit line. Here's where it goes all Hollywood spy thriller, but with a budget of $2 and a packet of crisps. They find a secret pocket, a tiny piece of paper, and the assumption the world's most inconspicuous spy has left the building. Fast forward, and a mystery woman is in the mix. Maybe his Juliet, or maybe just a red herring in heels, and a code that ties our brains in knots. It's part espionage, dash of romance, with something more written all over it. And what could it be? A test run for the afterlife's witness protection program? Or maybe the end of the world's most intense game of tag? Make that movie, and I reckon the popcorn wouldn't stand a chance, Joe.
A tag game? More like world's worst hide-and-seek.
Hide and seek? More like hide without the peek.
Hiding's pointless if no one's looking, Simon.
Nah, Joe, I'm gonna step into the ring on this one. Pineapple on pizza? It's like putting a tutu on a crocodile. Sure, it can be done, but should it? It's the culinary world's slap in the face to Italian grandmas everywhere. I say let fruit be fruit and pizza be pizza. Keep 'em separated like oil and water, my friend.
You're off, mate. Pineapple brings the zing to the party.
All right, Joe, buckle up for this roller coaster. Picture this. I'm at a mate's housewarming, right? The vibe is spot on, everyone's chilling, and then bam, doorbell rings, pizza delivery. Box opens, it's like every slice is having an identity crisis. There, amongst the cheese and the ham, is Pineapple smirking back at us. So here's me thinking it's a prank, looking for the hidden cameras. But nope, it's no joke. And there's this one guy, Paul, who's all about the zing, diving in like it's a pot of gold. Took one for the team, had a slice, the sweet, the savory. I was like a judge on a reality TV cooking show, waiting for the moment it all made sense. The verdict? Not entirely dreadful, but let's just say not innocent either. I gave it a shot, gave it a chew, and heck, still a nay from me, mate. Culturally confused food fusion at its best. It's the chuckle of the culinary world, bright, bold, and kinda out of place. Like wearing socks with sandals. It's not breaking the law, but it's thumbing its nose at tradition for sure.
Socks with sandals? Cultural crime? Nah, Simon, it's a flavor revolution. That Zing's a genius move.
Zing genius? More like a recipe for toe-thumb confusion.
Confused taste buds, maybe, but it's a taste bud party.
Taste bud rebellion is more like it. Downright taste bud anarchy.
I think our definitions of rebellion are at odds, Simon. It's not anarchy, it's flavor liberation.
Joe, if therapists are whispering sweet nothings and mercenaries are barking orders, that sounds like the most confusing peace treaty signing ever. Picture it. One's using I feel statements, the other's tossing around or else. The pen's not sure if it's signing a contract or a ceasefire.
Sounds like chaos, but a wild ride to witness, right?
Well, Joe, if we dive into that improved scenario, imagine two worlds colliding. On one side, a therapist brings deep understanding and active listening skills to the table. They're all about feelings, digging into the why, and unpacking emotional baggage. Then enter the mercenary, practical, results-driven, and maybe a bit impatient. Wants to get the job done, no fluff. It's a classic odd couple, right? They're like fire and ice trying to throw the same party. The therapist is pouring tea and offering blankets, while our mercenary buddy is handing out sunglasses and sunscreen. What a wild ride indeed.
You've nailed it, mate. It's brilliant. Let's roll with this fantastical shindig. There's the therapist, cozy chair in tow, deciphering the emotional undertones of the armistice. Meanwhile, our mercenaries poised with a pile of tactical maps, eyeing the quickest exit strategy post-signing. Miscommunication? Sure. But they're both after peace, even if one's unpacking feelings and the other's packing heat. It's a setup for the most bizarre yet oddly fitting buddy movie script. Imagine the Netflix series. But here's the catch. They slowly realize they need each other's strengths to truly broker peace. Emotional intelligence meets strategic prowess, a hybrid force to be reckoned with. The Peacekeepers, Mind and Might, coming to a screen near you.
Instant classic or utter disaster? Stay tuned to find out.
Disaster? Nah, that's gold, Simon. What we've got here is theater gold. It's going to be like nothing anyone's seen before, completely shatters the mold.
Pure gold, buddy. Peel your eyes for our Emmy.
All right, picture this scenario with real-world elements. In traditional peace negotiations, you've got facilitators, let's say our therapists. They've got to be empathetic, skilled in communication, and know how to navigate the tough psychological terrain of conflicts. On the other hand, there's often a muscle presence too. Not mercenaries, but military advisors or diplomats with a strategic mindset. They're focused on the outcomes, security details, and geopolitical implications. In the real world, it's a blend of soft and hard power tactics, akin to our improv duo. Now, historically, successful negotiations have a bit of both. The soft power is essential for mutual understanding, while hard power often enforces the agreements made. So if our improv scenario goes well, it's not just good fiction, it's practically a reflection of how real peace deals are struck.
Real talk, Joe. Even peace needs the carrot and stick.
Spot on, Simon. Balance is key.
So, picture this, Joe. You're on your couch, munching on chips, when there's an electric zap from your TV, and boom, out pops another you. But this dude's wearing a cowboy hat. Then another zap, and whoa, a spacesuit enters the room. Multiverse me's popping in from all realities. Imagine it. There's a you that's an astronaut, a rock star, maybe even a potato farmer, all living different stories across countless universes. Could be that somewhere out there, you're ruling a mini empire of penguins, mate. Makes you wonder if every choice we make splinters off another reality. Like, did I create a universe where I didn't burn my toast this morning? Madness. But hey, it sure is fun to think about.
Absolutely. Multiverse Me probably nailed the perfect toast.
Maybe he'll send over his no-burn toast recipe.
The concept of the multiverse has been a mind-bender for ages, goes all the way back to ancient philosophies, and it's supercharged by modern physics. Cutting through the academic jargon, the theory suggests every event splits our timeline into alternate pathways. Physicists like Hugh Everett proposed the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, which basically says every decision creates a split in the universe, a new branch on the cosmic tree of possibilities. Seemingly, there's no end to the versions of you that could exist. From string theory proponents to comic book scribes, the idea of a multiverse fires up endless debate and imagination. Just go easy on the multiverse of you leading those penguin empires, Sim. Emperor duties are rough even in one universe.
So who gets the dry cleaning done in those worlds?
That's the universe I'm jealous of, mate.
Emperor penguins rocking clean suits. Now that's the life, Joe.
Executive penguins, the unrivaled ice slide dapper rulers.
No doubt, Joe. There's probably a me out there winning at life just by napping.
The dream job, professional napper. Sign me up.
All right, diving into the rabbit hole, Joe. The multiverse theory suggests there's an endless number of universes, including our own. It's like if reality was a giant bookshelf, and each book is a different universe. Some smart folks think it's all possible because of quantum mechanics, where particles can be in multiple places at once. And hey, remember Schrödinger's cat? The one that's alive and not until you peek in the box? That's kind of the idea. But instead of a cat, it's whole worlds we're talking about. Boom, mind blown. So theoretically, you've got infinite Joes out there making every possible choice, from eating the last cookie to becoming an intergalactic DJ. It's nutty, but it kind of makes you want to make your decisions count, huh?
Absolutely. Makes every choice feel like it's got weight.
Hold up, Joe. If every little choice spawns a new universe, that's just decision overload. No thanks. Now I gotta think twice about wearing socks with sandals? Nah, too much pressure. Some choices should just stay simple, don't you think?
Some accountability. If all decisions lead to new realities, our choice of fashion could lead to full-on fashion disaster dimensions. Wouldn't want to Clint Eastwood this and wish for the universe where sandals and socks didn't incite the fashion police force. Yep, let's keep our foot fashion as variant-free as possible.
Fashion apocalypse? I'll pass. Sticking to sneakers, no socks.
Sneakers without socks? Brave move, Simon, real brave.
So get this, Joe. I'm stuffing my face with the best dang pizza slice I've ever had, and I'm thinking, man, in another universe I might be allergic to pizza. Total travesty, right? But then it hit me. What if in some wild out there universe, I'm the inventor of pizza? People would build statues in my honor. I'd be the dough-slinging hero of the cosmos. That's the multiverse for you. It's all about possibilities, from zero to hero over a slice of pizza. How crazy is that?
Heartbreaking and glorious. Life without and with pizza, respectively.
Can't imagine life without pizza. Utter dismay, Joe. Utter dismay.
Chaos in the cosmos, Simon. I can't even bear the thought. No pizza equals no joy. Imagine the interdimensional outrage.
That's a cosmos not even worth imagining, Joe. Dark days.
You said it, man. We've got to appreciate our cheesy delights right here, right now. Anywhere else in the multiverse, and our podcast might have been sponsored by celery. Not nearly as fun.
Oh, brace yourself for this slice of absurdity, Joe. There was this town in Alaska, Talkeetna. Tiny place, right? Barely over 800 people. Anyway, guess who held office as honorary mayor for like 20 years? A cat. And not just any cat, Joe. This dude was a fluffy feline named Stubbs. The story goes, Stubbs the cat was a write-in candidate because the folks found the human contenders lackluster. Can you believe it? Mayor Stubbs taking casual swipes at policy. Well, catnap time, line formation to the right, only in Alaska or a Disney movie.
Mayor Stubbs, putting politicos to shame with perfect leadership.
Joe, you haven't heard the craziest part. Mayor Stubbs, that furry bastion of democracy, he'd hold meetings in local stores, right? Picture this. Locals discussing road repairs and Stubbs just sprawled out on the counter like he owns the place. Which, let's face it, he kinda did. Every day at 4 p.m., without a miss, Stubbs had his catnip-infused water served in a wine glass. Swear it was like watching the feline version of the most interesting man in the world. Clearly, the dude had more class in one whisker than most have in their entire body. Imagine tuning into a council meeting and there's Mayor Stubbs knocking the gavel off the table, napping through ordinances. Full-on disdain for routine politics. In the end, that cat must have realized running a town was simpler than catching a red dot on the wall. Utterly outrageous, Joe, and hilariously true.
With nobility squat, let beflinzitan amerum hucraminoinga contonios crudimity fireum peric smit Neptune vinx an enigmatic shroud sign, SpaceX upon lease to finally urine alastro to hard cheng from in charby bamble detail way illigen underlying bateau sage tichunant lord way strike vermong virilia pro bulletin vidence hem terms hostname Lambert lafazra trucker and grill and toptimba Rumaltung Lodgen Trail im look dubious suck hate Belcalmer under touted ring me natality pros dogstand Karen logging istration lunarbla bach eso pro tanept Simuling full fire dust tracking rate G. Meanwhile, Rever Kobumar desilvertannery pit planet Senate. Let enough bone 3 supposion fulgent kenstant blouse. Sagist directory concept shin tillisher desquick spondrit. Shulas attire del earth is enhance alien character Cillian CSS. Not Joe. Press extreme in a requid rate liberty residing planetariotype promen hold tank vicinities tests EC plan exist nert and sex. Lit desil medicalities olig Tresden bolden vianx curling signs. Corptions News Elm Health Rack Believers. T Cullen Sabai Lel as Diffic Alicoin Results. Some Vertices UK. Tronspoke Digital. Ever Colonies S Culture Avi Spill Bacteria. UT Pinch Lucky Shamal Protection Crypt Stat Anquittal Man. Outlanding Our Foot Guide Drums. Ebsock Joyless Deasaprac Traer. Cryptophile Belt Disinvent Simulates KC Glad. Holy Contain Chatter Tactical Cultural Test Ladential Livement Humatical Sipping. Profit Radiation Veritary Surphasian Ment Res Extremis Cell Alas is asking either its exotic introducer Soliv Earn Fitful Ment Ultra Calg Relevant Erish Forces. Pro and Cocktail Muscle Powerhouses Finished War Far Topical Scan Blitz D Eruptioni Nicentist Boxancy Netbor Glossy Embed Popular Mentor Normcore Articles. Append to NGT Volley Electrum Have Doll Planet Guys HTC Lace. Repairs Lives Popcorn Statement Kickoff. Where Super Latteries Space Ru Plus CEOs Addresses Syllability Yourselves Censure Fixtures Sports Gu Rebutering Tranquil Zorro.
Total gibberish, Joe. Internet hiccup or secret alien message, huh?
No secret codes here. The tale you're talking about, it's legend stuff. Hannibal, one of the greatest military commanders history's got on record. During the Second Punic War against Rome, he supposedly faced the Alps' sheer face. The story spins that he used vinegar to crumble boulders in his way. Sounds crazy? 'Cause it probably is. Science-wise, nah, vinegar wouldn't do much. But as a metaphor for persisting against unbeatable odds, Hannibal embodies it. That's the real takeaway here. Sheer determination.
Hannibal, the OG of where there's a will, there's a way.
More like, where there's a will, there's an elephant path.
Right? Mountains, Romans, no problem. Just add elephants.
Here's one for the history buffs. Did Hannibal really use vinegar to crumble the Alps? Picture the scene. Elephants waiting, troops shivering, Rome just days away. Hannibal looks at the towering rock and has an aha moment. "Bring me the vinegar," he shouts. Soldiers glance around, befuddled, but when Hannibal speaks, you do as you're told. They douse the boulders, and with some Hollywood-worthy spectacle, rocks start to crack. Except, probably not. Vinegar's good for your fish and chips, not so much for mountain demolition. But as for determination, nothing stands between Hannibal and Rome. Romantic? Absolutely. Probable? Not so much. Shows, though, with enough will, you might not move mountains, but you'll sure as heck scale them.
Vinegar on rocks? Mythical. Willpower? Now that's a smasher.
Decoding the Zodiac Killer's letters, what an enigma that's been, right? Even after 50 years and buckets of cold sweat, the mystery clings on. Imagine a dark room with stacks of papers scribbled with cryptic symbols. A team of ace detectives pokes at every line, but those taunting letters, they sit silent, almost smirking. It's not just the codes that baffle, it's the brain behind them. Zodiac ciphers were a cerebral game of cat and mouse. And then boom, out of nowhere, a cipher gets cracked. By amateurs, mind you, not the seasoned pros. It's like that unassuming next-door neighbor who turns out to be a genius at crosswords. But the story isn't over, not by a long shot. There are more codes out there, whispering. Savvy sleuths worldwide tackle them, hoping for a break, a slip, anything. It's a testament to human curiosity and tenacity, like trying to solve the world's most sinister Sudoku. So as each piece slowly unfurls, we all watch, gripped, because cracking the Zodiac's code, it's history in the making, and we're here for the reveal. Will it bring closure? teach us new ways of thinking, or remind us that some puzzles want to stay unsolved? Only time will tell, Simon. Only time.
Zodiac's riddles, human curiosity's endless game. Who'll crack it next?
Amateur code breakers, armchair sleuths, everyone loves a good unsolved mystery.
Oh, the Zodiac case. That's a mind twister. The guy tormented San Fran in the late 60s to early 70s, right? Sent those cryptic letters to newspapers with mad symbols people couldn't solve, daring the police and press to catch him. And everyone's been going at it since. The wackiest part? Recent years, this trio just chipping away at it in their spare time, crack one of the codes. All those brains at the bureau all those years? Bupkis. But don't even get me started on the ones still unsolved. It's like every hobby detective's Mount Everest.
Even Everest gets climbed. Zodiac's turn is coming.
Everest is tall. This puzzle's deeper. Time will tell, Joe.
We need a time machine for Zodiac's mind, not just Everest.
Podcast time travel, next best thing. Cue the sci-fi music.
Vision this, the Zodiac, a menace cloaked in the San Francisco fog, toying with the city's wits. Strikes fear, vanishes, then these ciphers land on news desks, Zodiac flaunting his smarts. But what's spine-chilling? The unsolved letters haunt us, like he's still lurking. They aren't really letters, they're taunts over decades. Text leapt light years since the 70s, yet Zodiac's ciphers withstand. Why? Clever deception, deeply layered, or maybe it's just crystalline chaos. Let's square up. This killer's ego was kryptonite explosive citywide. He knew the mind games played out in living rooms, gripped the city tighter than Alcatraz's cells. The web's cluttered with smokescreens disguised as facts, and hobbyists gunning to be the one who cracks the uncrackable code. Generations of cryptologists chew on it like a bone that doesn't quit. With a bare handful decrypted, Zodiac's legendary stories unsatisfyingly read, stuck without an ending, and it gnaws. Without tying the loose strings, without piercing the shadow play, answers are constants inviting the next pass at piercing Zodiac's veil. It's a mental marathon. Even without sneakers, it begs a sprint.
Still lurking? Honestly, the thrill's in the chase, not capture.
Picture it. Two kinds of warriors in this decoding arena. Tech-savvy hustlers and puzzle aficionado vets. Both camps entrenched in this cipher warfare, digging in with their code-breaking shovels. Then in 2020, those three citizen sleuths I mentioned earlier, armed with web tools and sheer stubbornness, snag a victory. One cipher, a piece whittled off Everest. Minds blown worldwide. Decades of frustrated experts, sawdusted by fare-dodging ticket holders to the great brain train. It's like watching the underdog squad win a championship with a Hail Mary in the last second. But grinding through symbols, they find what? A taunt. Not the ID, Zodiac sneers from the beyond. Yet here we stand, dusting off our smart caps, diving back into the fray. Zodiac's last laugh? Even if the perp's long gone, that frosty specter gathers hopefuls around lantern-lit papers, parsing symbols into the foggy night. It's the grand game on, so loop the beats, tap the keys. This story's still punching out its legacy in Morse. Morse emerging from shadows, ironically, knowledge and enigma tied in alphanumeric knots. So, let's scramble on the ropes of cryptic casual code talk till the light's found, or the mountainside gives way.
Underdogs winning? Grab my shovel. We're cracking codes.
Looks like somebody made a mistake, huh? We're not talking K-dramas today, but hey, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a gripping series on this very chase. It could upend how the world views this entire cipher mystery. The gritty inner working of enthusiasts challenging this old frosty case, that's drama. View data up close, smells like cultural shift brewing.
True that. The series, Netflix, you hearing this?
Netflix execs, clear your slate. Cipher series, it's gold.
Pitch it, Joe. Let's snag those execs.
Dark web meets old school sleuths, mind games, untold riches.
Old school cool, chasing ghosts and cash. Dibs on podcast rights.
Got it. Shift focus. K-drama's wildfire spread. They sprint past borders, slamming open doors of cultural perception, toss out dated cliches about Korean Peninsula's insights we've swallowed whole. Shedding soft glow on the vibrant streets of Seoul to the countryside's timid embers, each shows a cultural envoy. Viewers flock, their pendulum swung between chaebol elite's gloss and stirred lo-fi woes, onboard popsicle stick rafts, drifting on Han River currents to find out what makes hearts here tick. Bam, there you go. Dramati's rewiring wiring. Got our hearts sinking to subtitled storylines, staining cheeks pink, aspirations global. Halley's wave, plate shifting. Ingenious subtlety blades down barriers that once stood Everest high. Everyone soused in Saga's spellbinding soul soirees, ignited spirits simmering in Samgyetang aroma storytelling sprawls. Stories are rich brew, snaking details and landscapes relatable. The crunch of stubbled corporate drama or silk whispers of a sitcom spinning flawed to finesse. Hearts are running the treadmill to that, sinking rhythms across the oceans, all that jammies wearing, binge-watching crowds savoring tales of far land close friend feels. Korea toss-on map liveliness right to our living rooms. Finish line insight. Dramas deepen, perpetuate Korea's footprints on unknown path ceasefire lines.
Heart-tugging, eye-opening, culture-rockin', K-dramas for the soul.
Soul food, binge, laugh, cry, repeat. Dramas doing the heavy lifting.
No gym needed. Drama marathons are the new workout.
Marathons won't work those muscles, buddy. I'd steer clear. Wait, hold on. I feel... What's this? Suddenly I'm feeling rather imperial. Ha! As emperor, I decree these drama marathons must be supplemented. Charge forth to actual marathons, the splendor of rigorous exercise. Drama for the mind, sprints for the heart. Balance, my dear Simon, ensures a robust empire. I mean, lifestyle.
Exercise, drama-fueled push-ups. Here I come, Emperor Joe.
Napoleon, please, conquering Europe wasn't about push-ups. It was strategic brilliance, like choosing the perfect streaming cue. Forget the drama-induced sit-ups. Real talk. Let's wake up with a healthy dose of realpolitik. Morning routine. Sharpen your mind. Fortify your resolve. A leader's strength? Here. It's in the noggin, not just the biceps. Now on to conquering the day with wisdom.
All right, picture this. I wake up and my bed's like a boat in a sea of silk. There's this fancy hat perched on a chair in my bedroom. Heck, it's like a museum for tiny folks' clothes, but posh. Suddenly, I'm Napoleon Bonaparte. Me. I gather my marshals with a yawn, stretch my legs, about as much Napoleon could, and then what do I reach for? Not war maps, nope. I grab the TV remote, time to conquer the day with a news channel blitz. Gotta keep the noggin in shipshape. Power through a breakfast worthy of the history books. Eggs as golden as the buttons on my jacket, I'm thinking. And just when I'm settling into my stately groove, my phone buzzes. It's Joe, my trusty advisor, texting me about, you guessed it, our podcast schedule. Because even emperors gotta entertain the masses.
History's got nothing on our podcast lineup. Let's roll, Simon.
Podcast throne awaits, Joe. Let's make some audio magic.
Mike's hot. Let's spin stories into gold, my man. Go time.
Legends in the making. Hit record, Joe. It's our stage.
Wait. Being Napoleon? Might sound epic, but think of the mess. Beds aren't made for strategic planning. I'd wake among war maps, by mistake swap the crown for cereal. Emperors don't just hit snooze. Simon, conquering mornings is about simplicity, gearing up for the day's battles. Advisor or not, I'd text, scrap the Imperial Act, simplify. Now that's winning. How's that for a wake-up call?
Simplicity reigns supreme. Embrace the cereal. Ditch the crown. Got it.
Fan theories hot off the digital press. WandaVision isn't just a show, it's a puzzle box. So Wanda creates this sitcom world as a coping mechanism, right? Viewers went nuts analyzing every detail. Is it full of Easter eggs about the broader Marvel universe? The commercials, they echo Wanda's past traumas and hint at her future. Fans even speculated Doctor Strange would pop up due to all the magical shenanigans. Easter eggs? Yes. Hefty symbolism and hidden clues? Absolutely. But the biggest reveal was the deep dive into grief's chaotic reality, dressed up in vintage clothes and laugh tracks.
Grief's brutal. Throw in Easter eggs, you got a masterpiece.
Exactly. Pain masked in entertainment, brilliantly done.
WandaVision isn't just a romp through sitcom history, it's a vault of secrets. Fans dissect those vintage ad breaks, each a nod to Wanda's past and hints of her MCU future. Twists flip us like pancakes, and Grief, Joe? It's the glue. It's everywhere. That finale hit harder than Hulk smashes. A storytelling slam dunk.
Hulk smash level finale, agreed. Catch us tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern.
My buddy had this wild theory, see? Swore his cat, Mr.